Hi everybody, and a warm welcome to this week's episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides, where we're heading over to Catalonia in northern Spain, and specifically to the region of Lleida. And we've got a wonderful guest for you today, a lady by the name of Silvia Vidal, who is a tourism professional and local expert based in the Catalan Pyrenees, who works with Outdoor Adventour, a specialised destination management company focused on the Pyrenees, the lands of Lleida and the Costa Brava. In her role as a booking agent, customer service specialist and product developer, Silvia helps create bespoke travel experiences that showcase the authentic character of this remarkable region. Silvia's expertise lies in understanding how to make the most of Lleida's quieter months when the region reveals its most authentic character away from the summer crowds. Her insights into local gastronomy, outdoor activities and cultural heritage make her the perfect guide to discovering why the low season might just be the best time to experience this lesser-known corner of Catalonia. Enjoy. So, Silvia, you are most welcome to the Low Season Traveller Insider Guides podcast. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. And I'm really happy to talk about our territory, Lleida.
And I'm excited to learn. First of all, I had to Google how to pronounce your region, and it's Lleida, correct?
Lleida, yeah.
Lleida,
That's right.
Lleida. I won't tell you how I was going to pronounce it originally because I was going to make it look awful. But listen, for our listeners who might not be familiar with Lleida, could you paint for us a picture of this region? Where exactly are we talking about? And what makes Lleida special compared to other parts of Catalonia?
Okay. Yeah, so Lleida probably is one of the regions which is less visited by the people who travel to Catalonia, because most of them go to Barcelona or the coast. But we are 2 or 3 hours away from Barcelona airport, so it's not really far away. And let me start by saying that this is a territory full of contrast, because if you start by the Pyrenees, we have the lush forests, the alpine landscapes, also the lakes of glacial origin. So we have a lush vegetation there. Then you go south, you get to the pre-Pyrenees, also called the lower Pyrenees, where the weather is more harsh. And the landscapes also are more arid. But we have forests as well, and also the spectacular gorges that are carved out by the rivers. And finally, we get to the plains of Lleida, where the agriculture takes an important role. So it defines the landscape. So we find lots of fields of trees, meadows, olive groves. So it's a territory with a lot of differences. So I think that's what makes it really special.
Yeah, that diversity is incredible in one small region, really something else. And you, of course, work, I said at the outset, with Outdoor Adventour, and you create bespoke experiences in the region. What drew you to specialize in the Pyrenees and Lleida specifically? Do you have a personal connection to the region?
Well, our team, we are all in love with the Pyrenees. So any of us was born here. So we decided to come and move here and live in the territory. So I think that our special connection comes from our hobbies, our passions, right? And I think that we wanted to show the world to our clients what the territory has to offer, because you can do lots of different things depending on your interests. So you can find your likes and enjoy the territory, even if you like sports or you like culture.
Yeah. I was saying to you off air before, I wasn't aware of Lleida until I started to do a bit of research for this podcast. And quite honestly, it blew me away. First of all, how incredibly beautiful the region is. And like you were just saying before, the diversity of it as well. it's so rich in its diversity of landscapes. And then I started to scratch under the surface about the cultural heritage, the gastronomy. And I was thinking, and like I said, for our listeners, we were just speaking off air about it. And I was saying, it amazes me that people seem to always congregate in Barcelona, and just outside of Barcelona, you've just got the most wonderful, wonderful region. Let's talk specifically about the low season now. And when we say low season for Lleida, what months generally are we talking about? And why do you believe that this is a great time to visit Lleida?
Okay. Yeah, I think that it also depends on the area of Lleida, right? Because, for example, in the Pyrenees, I would go for spring and autumn. In summer, it's very crowded. And in winter, especially in weekends, it's also crowded due to the ski season. Mm-hmm. But then in spring, April, May, October, November, the weather is really nice and the landscapes are really beautiful. You have the lush green in spring and also the reds and yellows of the autumn. And as you go south, the low season can be longer because the weather is not that difficult, right? For example, in winter maybe. But yeah, the low season would be October to April, May. I would definitely skip summer because it's really, really hot in the plains.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things is as well, in those kind of peak seasons, it's when there are more people around as well. So if you want to sort of escape all of the people, it's a good time to go in the low season. And I guess, of course, when we talk about seasons, we're always drawn to the weather. And I always remind people and our partners at Low Season Traveller as well, that the low season travelers that listen to this podcast, they're not concerned about the weather. They don't travel for the weather. I mean, really, they don't. They tell me this. They always say, we travel because we want the culture and the heritage and the gastronomy and all of those things that make the destination truly unique. The weather is what the weather is. That's not their main purpose, which I always find interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
On the subject of that, let's move on to the gastronomy of the region. One thing that really stands out about Lleida is its incredible gastronomy. You've mentioned in the past that the region has some exceptional local products. Can you tell us about the meat from the Pyrenees and what makes the meat from the Pyrenees so special, and how that mountain environment, how does that influence the quality of the meat?
So I think that we have one of the great meats in Catalonia. Because so we are talking about farming, which like mountain farming, right? That the cattle live in the mountains really, and they eat the grass from the meadows, and so they have like fresh pastures, and I think that gives the meat a special taste, and also it's a way of sustainability, right? Because it gives life to the rural life, and also it prevents fires. It's a way to clean the mountains. So I think that it's the most sustainable way of farming. And also the beef, we have a protected geographical indication label, which is really important, from the Pyrenees beef, Vedella dels Pirineus Catalans. And we also have great lamb, which is really, really tasty. And also there is that tradition from families that is still alive, that they make their own sausages, like longaniza or chorizo, and it's kind of a family gathering where they produce all these kind of stuff in a familiar way,
Nice. So. Absolutely love that. It's part of the cultural heritage, isn't it, really?
Sure. It's not just food. Yeah. It's not just food, it's culture.
Yeah. Do you know, I was speaking to a gentleman who runs food tours in Tahiti. in French
Mm-hmm.
Polynesia. And he was
Wow.
saying to me, he said, Jed, he said, food is culture. It is culture.
Yeah,
It is, what
it
we eat.
is.
It's not just the food. It's more than that. It's a tradition. It's the harvesting of the food. It's the bringing together of people that, that
That's
that
it.
spans generations and over decades, if not hundreds of years.
For us, for Catalans, I think that gastronomy is really important in our daily life. When you gather with family or with friends, there's always, you can do an activity, but there is always something related to food, maybe a lunch, maybe a dinner. But sometimes the lunch or the dinner is the main aim
Yeah.
of the gathering, you know? But for us, it's really, really important.
Yeah, the bringing together of people.
Yes.
There's something about food. Now, I understand that Lleida has not one, not two, but three Michelin-starred restaurants,
Yes.
which is quite something for a relatively small region. What's driving that sort of drive towards culinary excellence? And, how do these restaurants, I'm guessing that they must really showcase the local ingredients.
Sure. I think that the most important thing are the products they use and the way they link it to the culture and the tradition. For example, one of the Michelin-star restaurants, which is called La Boscana, they have a menu based on fruit. And it is because in their environment, there are those fruit fields and they want to show all the landscape and the territory on their proposal, you know? So, yeah, I think that we have three Michelin stars because we really take care of our territory and in all stages. So from the person who cultivates the products till the person who cooks it. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Have you been to all three? Have you eaten at them?
No, no, it's on my bucket list. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in short we have one of them, which is El Fogón, and yeah, they have the Michelin star since very long time, and also
Wow.
the other one that I'm missing, it's called. Now I forgot the name, but
I've got
let
them here.
me
There's
check if I have it.
Malena.
Yeah,
Malena.
Malena, right? Yeah, but yeah, they are doing really good job.
So something
Okay.
else as well is, and I want to get this right, but for our listeners at home, they might be familiar with what we call nougat. There is this very special type of nougat that's from your region. And I want to get it right. Torrons agramun. Have I massacred
Turro,
that completely?
yeah. It's pronounced Turro de Agramunt. So it's the Agramunt nougat. Agramunt is the name of the village where it is produced, and they have a tradition since the 18th century. So it's a really, really old tradition. And they started with the traditional one, which is a hard turron, but now they produce lots of different types of turron of all flavors. So it's
Wow.
really, really popular, really known around the world.
Incredible.
And
Again, I'd love to try it. I was reading about, because
yes,
again, it's not the natural ingredients that go into it. This isn't
yeah,
full of any kind
sure.
of nasties or anything else. It's all completely
It's
natural. Is it almonds
yeah,
and honey
that's
and
it.
yeah,
And they are not cultivated in the area, so
yeah.
that's the base of all the products. You know, like they are cultivated in our territory, and yeah, that make it so special.
And I believe it's literally world famous, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are shops that sell turro de gramun around the world, so you can find. Sometimes in family gatherings we usually eat it in Christmas. But the thing about turro de gramun is that it is produced all year long, and people eat it all year long. So
Wow.
that's unique.
I really want to try. I love what we call nougat. I love nougat.
Yeah, and also you can visit the museum, and because there is the turron and chocolate museum in Agramunt, so you can visit the museum and then taste it in the shop.
Yeah, that's all for me because I have a sweet tooth. I like sweet things.
Yeah.
Amazing. Beyond the famous products, what other gastronomic experiences should low season visitors seek out when they visit Lleida? And I believe on the notes you mentioned wine tourism, olive oil,
Hmm.
mushrooms, fishing. How do these
Yeah.
fit into the seasonal calendar?
Well, you can visit all year long these wineries or olive groves. So they do a really great job. They have visits to see their lands and also taste their products. And regarding to wine, we have a vast territory. So from the plains to the Pyrenees, we produce wine. Um, of course, they have different uh, features because the in the plains the weather is hot, so it defines the taste of the wine. And also in the Pyrenees, we say the high mountain wines because the vineyards are 1,000 meters high. So
Well,
the yes, the fresh the freshness of the weather also determines the taste of the wines.
very
And
good.
they are all in the same region, like the official region, which is called Costes del Segre. They are all in one. And about the olive oil, there is the particular how can I say sorry, um the olive, sorry, I forgot
Vine?
the word
Is
in
it the
English. Yeah, like
or the
the
tree? Like
it's called arbequino. Yes.
okay.
So the specialty of olive, which is called arbequino, and it's like a small olive which gives a really particular taste.
Oh wow. Very good. So yeah, so I think for those that like to travel for amazing gastronomy, clearly Lleida has quite a lot to offer. I
Yes.
want to turn as well to, we're talking a lot about the diversity of landscape of Lleida, not only on the wine, but you were talking at the introduction about the mountainous area, and then you've got the lower lands and the plains. And it kind of leads me on to the next topic, which is nature and outdoor adventures. For outdoor enthusiasts, Lleida seems to offer an incredible amount of diversity. And we were talking about the low season, typically, a lot of the low season being with winter activities. And you mentioned Nordic skiing as an alternative to the more crowded alpine resorts. Can you explain what makes Nordic skiing special and which resorts in Lleida offer these kind of experiences?
Okay. So yeah, I think that if you have tried skiing or you haven't, I think that Nordic ski is a good way to be surrounded by nature. So most of the places where you can Nordic ski in Lleida are surrounded by natural parks or by lush forests. So you got a deep connection with nature while you practice, and also it's more sustainable and family friendly, so everyone can do it. Um, it's really easy to start with Nordic skiing, and then you can skip like the 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 ski resorts where a lot of people used to go. I am an alpine skier, but definitely if you want to like be more calm and be surrounded by nature, and that it's better to try Nordic skiing. We have 5 different places where you can try this sport. Um, you can go to Tuixén-Lavansa, Sant Joan d'Alerm, to Virós Vallferrera, Tabascan. So there are a lot of them, Aranza. So there are different places where you can try it.
Very good. I must admit, I've never ever done alpine skiing,
Mhm.
but I have tried Nordic skiing, and I really enjoyed it for the reasons that you said. I think I was kind of nervous because
Yeah.
I've never skied before. And it's quite easy. It was actually quite a good workout.
Sure.
But at the time, my father came with me and he was 72. at the time,
Okay.
and he managed it just fine. So I think it's open to all ages, all levels of fitness. And like
That's
you say,
it.
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And it made me feel like, right, okay, at least I can say I've done skiing now, which was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that's it.
Yeah,
And you're
absolutely
not
loved it.
afraid of falling down or
Yeah,
something
no,
like
no,
that.
it was fine. Um,
Yeah.
you have in Catalonia, you have Catalonia's only national park, which is celebrating its 70th anniversary. And that
Yes.
is well, I'm going to ask you to tell us the name of it. I've got it here in front of me. San Maurici I'm going to say San Maurici National Park, but
Okay.
go on, give me the full name
Yeah.
for the national park.
Yeah, it is Aguastortas y Estañ de San
Aguastortas
Maurici.
y Estany de
Estañ de
San Maurici. Got it.
Yes.
What makes this place so special, and how does the experience change with the seasons?
Yeah, as you said, it's the only national park of Catalonia. So it is like a highlight of our region. So you must see it when you come here. It is true that in some seasons there are a lot of people visiting them, but I think that if you go low season, sometimes you can be almost alone when hiking. So
Amazing.
you can find the places to hike and feel like you are alone with all the fauna, all the animals, and all the vegetation. So
Wow.
then what makes it special is the alpine setting and also the water. I think that the water is the most important element in the national park because there are lakes, there are waterfalls, there are rivers. So everything is so large and so beautiful. And especially, yeah, in spring, for example, you have all the flowers that bloom. And in October, November, the autumn landscape. So that's great.
You're really selling this very, very well, Sylvia. I've got to tell you, because I
you have to come.
every time, everything you're talking about, I just keep thinking, man, I need to get over there. And then it frustrates me because it's so close. I mean, from where I am in the UK, it's not far at all. And I just can't believe that I'm 55 years of age. How have I never been to your region? Anyway, I need to do something about that.
I think that we are a destination that it's not really known, but for example, we organize parts of a tour. For example, we work for an agency, right? And this agency ask us to create the 4 days of a bigger tour, right? And usually our tour is to connect, for example, Barcelona with San Sebastian, right? And then the clients are really surprised about what they see in our territory. Because they come from Barcelona, from the big city, then they stop in the plains, then they do an activity at the lower Pyrenees, and finally they reach the Pyrenees. And they see these differences and all the activities that they can do here. And actually, at the end, they say, wow, we didn't expect that, right?
That's nice, though, in a way. I think it's nice to, when you travel sometimes, and I've said it many times over the years, and I've been somewhere that I had never particularly imagined that I would be traveling to. So it'll be a place, I'll give you an example. I went to Chicago. I was never particularly interested in visiting Chicago. But when I got to Chicago, it kind of blew my mind how amazing it was. And I just remember thinking, wow, I did not realize it was such a great place. And I think that's possibly the same when people visit Lleida and the region. I think they don't have any particular expectations. So as a result, when you show them what you have, it probably blows their mind.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely
don't
love
expect that.
I love it. And something else that you've got you can't believe how rich your region is. You've got the Montsec mountain range, which offers something really unique. And this jumped out for me because I'm really into stargazing at the moment and dark skies tourism, which dark skies tourism for our listeners, this is getting really popular now. As there's more light pollution in the world, there are
Mm-hmm.
fewer places where you can see a completely black,
Yeah.
star-filled night. And when you find those areas, you realize what you're not seeing if you live in a city or town. And in the Montsec mountain range, you've got stargazing in a Starlight certified. So it's a certified area.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a
That's
little
it.
bit about the astronomical experience and why this area is so perfect for observing the night sky.
Yeah. I think that Montsec is the perfect area for stargazing. There is the astronomical park, where they offer activities, and they have the observatory. And yeah, I think that the area it's perfect for that activity because we are far from the pollution of big cities. Um, we have a dark sky at night because the surroundings there are not a lot of villages and light contamination, light pollution. So yeah, I think that it's a good opportunity to enjoy the sky and see as much as possible. That sometimes in the
Absolutely.
cities it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Let's say when you go to these kind of dark sky parks and areas, you realize just what you're not seeing. Where I
Yeah,
live
that's
anyway.
it.
I don't see a sky
Yeah,
like that at all, and it just
yeah,
amazes me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, wow, okay, I get it now.
yeah.
Incredible. For those that prefer their activities closer to ground level, what hiking and biking opportunities does the low season in the region offer?
So if we start from the Pyrenees, there is a lot of hiking options. So we have the national park and also two natural parks, Alpirineo and Cadí-Moixeró. And all of them have different differences of landscapes and different types of routes. Alpirineo Natural Park is the biggest in extension of Catalonia. And also Cadí-Moixeró has the rocky walls of the north side, which are really beautiful. So you can walk if you like to climb peaks, but you can also walk around the villages and the old traditional paths that connected them. So you can have nature, but you can also have culture and tradition by hiking, right? And
Yeah.
then about biking, well, and also you can also hike in the lower Pyrenees. For example, there are those really nice gorges that pass through the river, and there are some that are really popular and sometimes crowded, but there are others that are out of the beaten path and that are really worthy to visit, like the Moor Gorge, which is a really nice path by the river with the rocky walls on the sides. So it's really, really worth it to visit. And if you are in the plains, you can also walk around natural areas like Ibars and Vilasana Lake. So you have plenty of options. And then
Plenty of
about
options.
biking, yes, never ends.
Yeah.
And then about biking, it is true that, for example, in the Pyrenees, it's more challenging, but we also offer routes for families and people who are not so fit. And there is also the option of an e-bike. Nowadays, it's really popular.
I
So
bet it is.
you, yeah, but yeah, there are options for everyone. For the people who are looking for more challenging routes or descents, but and families and other people who prefer a more relaxed itinerary. And then in the
Perfect.
plains, you can go gravel biking, which it's a
What's that?
mix of the road bike and the mountain bike. So you can
Ah,
go on the road, but also go on the tracks, and it's a great way to discover the the landscapes with the fields and the crops and the trees, and yeah, it's really beautiful.
yeah. That
So
sign me up for that. Yeah, I'd definitely love to do that. I went, by the way, I tried e-biking. I was in
yes.
Switzerland a couple of years ago, And I'm not a cyclist. I'm one of these people, one of those very sad people who pretty much doesn't know how to ride a bike. Yeah.
Okay.
I never had a bike. I never had a bike as a kid. So I'm not very confident at all cycling. But the guys there hooked me up with an e-bike. And that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. And it does, again, just for our listeners that aren't aware of this, you still have to pedal. You do still have to pedal.
Yeah.
You do get a workout. But
of course, it's not a motorbike.
No, it's not a motorbike. But it really helps you a huge amount.
Yeah.
It was, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like mountain bike for everyone, the e-bike, but it's cool. I mean, it's an option. We say that the normal bike is like the Lang's bike, that you need to, and then the e-bike, it's different.
It's a fun one.
It's a fun one.
I love it. Let's move on a bit because we should absolutely talk about cultural heritage and history of Lleida. And Lleida, we kind of touched on it a little bit there. It does have some incredible cultural heritage, including you got several UNESCO World Heritage sites.
Yes.
And you've got these kind of Romanesque churches in the Vall de Boí.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Vall de Boí, thank you very much.
Yeah.
What makes this collection of Romanesque churches so significant that the UNESCO deemed them worthy of special protection?
Yeah, because the ensemble of Vall de Boí is one of the most remarkable concentrations of hermitages and church in Europe. So they show the Lombardian style, and they are really how can I say, conserved, Yeah. So, you can visit most of them, and the main one, which is San Climent de Taüll, used to have the fresco paintings that nowadays are in the National Museum of Art, but they made a video mapping where you can see how it was decorated at the old times. So it's really an interactive visit, but it's really, really worth it to see how it was decorated with the fresco paintings and imagine how it was in the old times, all those churches.
Amazing. And what about, and again, I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, the Seu Vella? You don't even know what I'm talking about. That's how bad the pronunciation is.
Yeah.
Tell me how's it pronounced?
Yeah.
Seu Vella.
Seu Vella. Yeah. Seu Vella. Yeah, I think it's the one of the most important sites in the city of Lleida.
Yeah.
So if you have like one day getaway from Barcelona, for example, it's a really nice visit because Lleida is connected by train with Barcelona. Just 1 hour. It takes 1 hour to get there. And La Seu Vella, it used to be the old cathedral of the city. Then at some point it became a fortification, like a military fortification for a battle. And nowadays is a cultural landmark that can be visited, and there are exhibitions and events there. But from there, you have great views of the city, of all the plains of Lleida, and you can imagine why it was constructed there, why they decided to build it there. Yeah,
it's an incredible building. So again, I would urge our listeners. In fact, we'll probably use an image of the cathedral for this podcast cover art for our listeners out there. But also, if you check on the Low Season Traveller website as well, we're going to have some images of it there just so you can have a look, because it's really quite something. It'll surprise you.
It's unique.
The region has quite a few 1,000-year-old villages and castles. For anybody listening that's interested in medieval history, which places would you particularly recommend during the low season? Is there any sort of special gems of medieval villages and castles that you would recommend?
Yeah, so in the plains of Lleida, there are lots of castles. Actually, there is a route that follows a river called Sió and passes through different counties, for example, Urgell and La Segarra. And there there are lots of castles along the riverside that can be visited, and it's the same as La Seu Vella. If you visit them and you walk inside them and climb their towers and see the landscapes and the views from there, you realize why they were constructed there and why it was so important to build and to have these connections between the castles and the villages. So
Yeah.
it's a really worthy route that can be visited.
Very good. Very good. Okay, let's now talk about some practical advice and insider tips, because we have you as our expert guide for Lleida. So look, from a practical standpoint, what should low season visitors to Lleida expect in terms of the weather, what to pack, and how does that sort of vary between the different seasons? Is there anything especially any tips that you can recommend with regards to what they would need to pack in terms of clothing or otherwise?
Yeah. So, for example, for visiting the Pyrenees, even if you are visiting it in summer, you need to wear a jacket and bring different types of clothes because the weather is so changing.
Yeah.
And even if in the morning it's really hot, maybe at night it can be cold. So I would bring different types of clothes. In
Layers, I
October,
guess.
for example, we have temperatures of maybe 30 degrees or 20 somethings, but then at night maybe we are at 10 degrees. So
Wow,
that's
okay.
that's a
Okay.
difference. Yeah, and well, also as you go south, the weather it's like more intense. Like in
Mm-hmm.
summer, it's really hot. Then in winter, it's also cold because they have the fog. Here, it's an important feature of Lleida plains. Because in winter there is the fog, and if the fog is low, the weather is really cold.
Wow.
So also, I would bring all types of clothes here.
Yeah.
Not
Gonna
in
need to bring a
summer
lot.
in the place. Yeah, maybe you need to bring a lot, but as
Yeah.
you are doing a lot of activities, you need different things.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And for
Yeah.
anybody planning their first visit to Lleida in the low season, here's a good one for you. What would be your ideal 4 or 5 day itinerary that would capture the essence of all that we've talked
Okay.
about? There you go. This is a tough one for you now. Or is this
Yeah.
this is what you
No,
do? This is what you do,
yeah, it's
isn't it,
what I
Sylvia?
do.
Yeah.
So that's really easy for me.
Okay, go. 4
Yeah.
or 5 days. What have we got?
Oh, come on. So I will go first to Lleida. I would
Yep.
spend a night there, visit the La Seu Vella. Then I would do maybe the run of the castles along the plains. Stop in Agramunt to eat some
Of
nougat.
course.
Then go to the Pyrenees and maybe do a hike along one of the gorges, like Moo Gorge. Sleep there and stargazing at night.
Oh, yeah.
That would be also an option. Then we go north. We can go to Vall de Boí to see the Romanesque ensemble. And also there is an entrance of the national park. So you can also visit the national park from there. Yeah, actually,
Perfect.
it's a perfect day because in one day you can see the Romanesque and also the national park. Then we can go north to Val d'Aran, which is really special because it's the only county that it's at the Atlantic side
Mhm.
of the So that the weather there is different and the vegetation is more lush. So it's also nice. You can visit the villages that are really beautiful and really charming. Then we can cross the Bonaiwa mountain pass to go to our our villages, the place where I live. And here you can also hike in the natural park of Alpirineu. I did not mention in the other days, but try the gastronomy along all the days of the route. Why not try water sports or like more adventurous sports that here we are like one of the main places to practice them. And then I would go to maybe Orgaña, where there is a place where you can also fly with paraglide. That's also an option.
Okay.
Paragliding can be done in Orgaña and also in Ager, near Montsec. So you have two places in Lleida where it's possible. It's really nice.
This kind of paragliding, this is where you're basically jumping off a mountain, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you walk up the mountain and then the jump. But the jump is not really like so.
Yeah, it's not like jumping out of a plane. It's more gentle.
No.
Yeah,
it's more gentle. Yeah, it is more gentle. Yeah, it's like being a bird, you know?
Wow.
Like from a bird's view.
I'd love to try
really,
that.
really nice.
Oh, I would really love to try that.
And yeah. And finally, if it's winter, you can try Nordic skiing, as we said.
Yeah.
For example, in Santander, Monaranza, and there the route.
I am so desperate to get over and to do a 4 or 5 day itinerary. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I can help you organizing it.
Definitely. Okay. Right. I'll hold you to that as well, Sylvia.
Yeah.
You've given us a huge amount of information today, and I'm always conscious when we've got a real expert like you, Sylvia. I want to know if you've got any insider tip or particular hidden gem that that maybe even the guidebooks don't include, they don't even know. Is there any little pearls of wisdom that even the guidebooks don't share, but you know, a little tip that you give to maybe your clients and nobody else?
Maybe I would say that, for example, we have a lot of wildlife, you know, like lots of animals living into the wild. And for example, in autumn, which is the low season, there is the deer root season.
Ah, yeah, deer. Very special. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great tip there and a great recommendation for our listeners for around about kind of October, November time, is it?
Yeah, well, it's the end of September and mid-October. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Outdoor Adventour emphasizes always sustainable tourism, which we love to hear. How does visiting during the low season contribute to a more responsible form of travel? And what should visitors keep in mind in order to minimize their impact when they visit Lleida during the low season?
Yeah, I think that visiting during low season, it's really important because especially, for example, in the Pyrenees, we have really defined seasons. And it's when a lot of people come and, it's sometimes it feels like people are invading us, you know? Because I think it's not really sustainable to concentrate all the tourism in just 1 month, 1 month and a half, for example. And to diverse, the diversification of the tourism also gives the economy, you know, a longer period. It makes people can work longer time, and it makes the territory more rich. Otherwise, it's just 2 months and that's it, and people just come from the season and then they go. No, and what we want is that we can have tourism all year long in less amount, so that the territory stays rich, stays full of life.
Yeah, absolutely love that. I must admit, I tend to agree. I think, you know, if you have the same numbers but spread throughout the year, it's got to ease the pressure on all elements. You know, the environment as well. You know, it lets the land breathe as well with few people on it.
That's it.
I love that. We're running very close towards the end. We've fit a load in. Sylvia, you've been such a brilliant guest. I'm so grateful. Listen, for anybody listening to this podcast and they've been listening to you and they're inspired by you and your tales of Lleida, Sylvia, and they want to visit during the low season, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you and Outdoor Adventour to plan their trip?
Yeah, you can. Well, they can contact us directly. We have the website, also the email. Um, they can call us if necessary. So
Perfect.
we usually like work individually, like with tailor made. We make tailor made programs, and we will design the adventure that fits each one needs, and it doesn't matter if it's more adventurous or more culture. We always adapt to the needs of each person.
Yeah, and you do it completely bespoke every time, which I think
Yeah,
is
completely.
is wonderful. So it's
Yeah,
completely tailor-made. So it's
that's it.
whatever they're looking for. They just need to give you an idea of the kind of things that they're interested in,
Yeah,
and you'll take care of everything
yeah,
for them.
that's it. And of course, people may have an idea, but if they tell us their interests, their physical conditions, we can always offer the best experiences and also suggest things or activities that they may not think of, you know?
Yeah,
And that's the best.
perfect. Sylvia, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Honestly, it's been
You're
such an
welcome.
absolute joy speaking to you and listening to you. And I think if the listeners are anything like me, I am so inspired to visit Lleida. And it's so close to us here in the UK. It's really not far at all.
Sure.
You don't need to fly to the other end of the earth to have an
That's it.
absolutely out of this world experience in nature, with culture, with heritage, with rich gastronomy, wonderful, warm local people, and it's all so nearby. And yeah, I'm absolutely inspired, and I'm really grateful to you. So thank you so much for taking the time, Sylvia.
You're welcome, and thank you for hosting me on this podcast.
So there you have it. And if you're inspired to learn more about Lleida, and indeed would like to contact Sylvia to arrange your perfect low-season trip to the region, then you can visit outdooradventour.com. That's outdooradventour.com. And there is a full feature on the Grand Tour of Catalonia in the latest edition of Low Season Traveller magazine, which is out now and available at lowseasontraveller.com/magazine. But that's our show for this week. Thanks as always for your company, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please do leave us a positive rating and review on your podcast app, and also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn to be the first to hear our latest low season stories, articles and guides. Have a great week wherever you are, and remember that travel is always better and fairer for the planet, the local communities, and you, the travellers, when it's without the crowds.